Hello, this is Eileen Gonzalez with Life According to Me and Eileen Gonzalez with Dancing with the Devil. So I want to talk about trust and forgiveness. And I want to talk about that because that's something that's been in my mind for a while. And this morning, I'm going to tell you something. At night when I'm sleeping, I think about a lot of stuff. There are times that I wake up multiple times in thought. I write things down. I record myself because it's good stuff, really. But this morning I woke up and I'm thinking about trust and I'm comparing it to the egg. You know that when you drop an egg or if you just hit it with something, immediately there's a bunch of cracks. And sometimes those cracks leave a puncture where the egg just comes out. Or sometimes it's just cracked enough that you have to hold it gently, right? And hope that you can save it. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, there's more to trust. And I remember that years ago, I belong to Weight Watchers, and I've always been with my weight fluctuating. And there's this pastor who is a leader, and I haven't seen him in a while, but I do remember this story that he shared. And every time that he would start a class or a session, he would share a lecture or a sermon. And I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's factual, but I do know that it stayed with me. And the reason he shared this story is because people that are overweight tend to be very hard on themselves and they do not forgive themselves for failure. So when people go into the scale and it's up and down constantly, they do not forgive themselves. And sometimes because they do not forgive themselves, what do? They go right back to the bad behavior that got them fat in the first place. So he shared this with us because it was about forgiveness and it was about trust. So here it goes. So everybody's aware that Thomas Edison had many, many failures. Nobody can decide exactly what the amount of failed attempts were, right? But in this legend, once he had the final product and he was happy, he was very excited, he handed the final product to this young lad. And this young lad dropped it. And you know that in 2019, there would have been curse F-bombs left and right. I'm sure we would have fired the guy. But in this story, he was not fired. He was not stoned to death. Instead, after the shock, Thomas Edison and the team went right back to work and came back with another final product. And Thomas Edison handed it again to this young lad. And the young lad is like, wait a minute, I dropped the other one. He goes, but you're not going to drop it again. So the young man took it, did not drop it. So he did not let Thomas Edison down. He actually took that moment of trust and he ran with it. He did good. Trust is not as fragile as an egg. We are the ones who state what it is. We are the ones who set the expectation that once trust is gone, we will never get it again. But now I want to take it back to our relationship with God. And this is not about me converting you. This is not about me convincing you of the existence of God. You can believe whatever it is you want. I'm just going to share a little story with you. So for you, if you are a Christian like I am, we're constantly praying to God. Please, God, forgive me. I promise you that if you make A, B, and C happen, I will give you X, Y, and Z. We promise the world to God. And a lot of times we fail. And then we come right back to God and we go, "Ay, Padre Santo, like, I'm so sorry. I know that I prayed for A, B, and C, and then I really messed up, and you know what happened." And we give them 10 excuses. But we promise you that if you deliver us from this one, everything is going to change. God already knows us. He already knows that we messed up back then. He knows that we are promising we're not going to mess up in the future, but he already has insight to what we're going to do and what we're capable of. And he's like, all right, let me just give her the benefit of the doubt. We're constantly asking him for his trust, for his forgiveness, but we are not willing to give that same trust and forgiveness to other people. We are humans. You and your partner, your spouse, you and your kids, you and your parents, you and your neighbor, you and your employer, if you're an employer with your employees, we're all human and we all mess up. We do it on a constant basis. We have shattered trust many, many times. And yet we're hoping people will overlook our mistakes, overlook that setback or that failure or whatever the heck we want to call it, but we're not willing to do the same for other people, because when they fail us, they really screwed up. That's not fair. It really isn't. Because if I am asking God for forgiveness for all the crap that I've done and all the crap that I'm capable of doing, then why am I not able to give a fellow human being that same forgiveness, that same opportunity to do better? Why? Because I don't see God. You see, the conversations that I have with God, he has never come into my room in person and said, hey, let me talk to you. Let's talk about what you did yesterday, and I'm going to give you pointers on how you're going to do it better. No. This conversation is me with an invisible being that I am putting my faith that he or she is listening to me. And here I am with my fellow human beings. I am not giving them the opportunity of my faith because I am holding them to a standard which I am not capable of reaching. Yes, if I want people to be truthful to me, then I have to be truthful to them. If I want people to meet me at my standards, at the standards that I have set, then I have to be able to meet those standards as well. And I also have to be able to exceed those standards. I have to be able to give you what I want from you. It's that simple. But yet we hold people accountable when we don't want to be held accountable the same way. Yes, please, God, help me. Please, God, I promise you I'll stop smoking. I promise you I'll stop cursing. I promise you I'll stop drinking. I promise you I'll be better on the road. I promise you I'll treat my neighbors with respect. I promise you that I will sit and do my homework with my kids. I promise you. And that's all bullshit. We're promising things that we know we're going to go back and apologize for in a week or so and ask for forgiveness again. But yet when somebody fails, we are not willing to give them that opportunity. We're saying, no, it was as fragile as that egg. Once it's shattered, you're done. You ain't getting that from me. You already failed me. Bullshit. We all fail. Now, I'm not saying that everybody deserves another chance, because there are certain times that you have to know when to draw the line and you need to know when to walk away. But we have to be very honest and realize on how hypocritical it is when we're also failing big time. If we want to be able to receive forgiveness in life, then we also have to be able to give forgiveness. We have to allow people to grow and learn from their mistakes. We have to be that example. And this happens in every phase of our lives. Like I said before, you don't have to accept things to continue to happen in your life, but you have to be that person who sets the expectation that you can actually reach, that you can actually live up to. If you want to be given something in life, you have to give it. You do. Trust is a bond. It is not as fragile as an egg. It is a conversation. It is a bond that we create. It is something that takes effort from both parties. And it can be restored. It can be restored when two adults that are human beings, that are capable of understanding that there is mistakes in life and that we can actually work towards being better, move towards something higher. When those two human beings come together and decide that they want to be better in life, then trust is definitely going to be able to be developed again. I don't know if this helps you, but I feel that it helped me. It's something that I needed to think through, and I'm hoping that anybody who's needing it finds the blessing in the words. If you disagree, that's okay. Like I said to you before, I'm not looking to convert anybody or convince anybody. But I do believe that we have to be better in life in order to receive better. And I do believe that if we want people to trust us, then we need to be trustworthy. If we want people to treat us or at least meet us where we want to be, we have to be there. We can't set expectations that we're not going to follow through, that we're not going to meet. We can't. And we cannot ask God to give us this unconditional love and forgiveness and trust if we're not able to offer that to our brothers and sisters. We just can't. It would be hypocritical of us. Have a great day.